Oh hey guys, I usually do gun comparison videos, but with the new Armored Kill expansion I thought it would be fitting to do something a bit different. How about something to take out those tanks? No, not a anti-tank mine, no, not Javelin, not the G3A3 you saw in there, nor that Beretta M9, not even the blowtorch, no. Instead, we're going to be doing the RPG-7. Okay, that was pretty goofy. This is not an activated RPG-7, but instead what's called a demilled or demilitarized RPG-7. It basically means it's been altered, so it cannot fire live rounds. Or put another way, it's basically a museum piece. But hey, that's okay. I can still tell you a thing or two about the RPG-7s and give you a feel for how different or similar it is in game versus real life. The RPG-7, which stands for Rocket Propelled Grenade 7, is bar none the most prolific anti-tank rocket system in the world, with over 10 million launchers produced. The RPG-7 has more than 24 variants produced by over a half-dozen countries, and it utilizes numerous types of warheads, ranging from anti-tank to anti-personnel. As a system, the RPG-7 is pretty simplistic and low cost. The launcher consists of a thick metal tube with a tiny firing pin that engages the rocket primer when the rocket is properly aligned. No, you can't simply stick in that rocket. It requires precise alignment to ensure a successful firing. The launcher has folding front and rear sights with the ability to change elevation, as well as a side rail mount for optics. Along the bottom of this system is the supporting pistol grip and the trigger assembly. The trigger is pretty straightforward. It has a cocking mechanism similar to a single-action revolver, a safety, and a trigger that, when pressed, pushes the firing pin into the primer of the rocket. The rocket itself is broken into two pieces which screw together. An expeller charge, which accelerates the rocket out of the tube to around 10 meters, fast enough to start that rocket booster, which then sends that rocket into high-speed flight. The expeller charge and the rocket warhead booster are stored separately until ready for combat. This is because the expeller charge is made up of a combination of nitrocellulose and nitroglycerin, and accordingly is very sensitive to moisture. This is why the expeller charge is usually housed in this wax-coated cardboard tube and wrapped with a water-resistant tissue paper. Anyway, enough chemistry. When the rocket is flying through the air, 4 fins pop out of the rocket body as the housing disintegrates. These fins help stabilize the rocket as it spins and moves in flight, and as that rocket continues to burn gases, they're diverted through little holes next to the fins and propel the rocket forward. So now we know how the rocket gets out of the tube and gets on a target, but let's talk about the warhead. The RPG-7's most common warhead is the PG-7V, a single-stage high-explosive anti-tank round. This warhead utilizes an explosive shaped charge which turns a copper cone at the center of the warhead into a stream of molten metal that can penetrate in some cases up to 13 inches of steel armor. Most modern anti-tank weapons use some form of shaped charge warhead, including both the SMA and the Javelin, but each of these systems are going to have different sizes of warheads, they're going at different speeds, and so results may vary in terms of the effect itself. The PG-7V has a maximum range of 900 meters, but exponentially gets more difficult as the range goes beyond 100 meters. Due to wind, the movement of the target, and the rocket's trajectory. It's important to remember this rocket does not have a guidance system. It is a dumb rocket when fired. It does not lock onto a target, nor does it home in on a target. It simply doesn't work that way. Back to the RPG-7 as it stands in-game. While I've never fired a live RPG-7, I can make a few observations from handling this one and reading up on it. The RPG-7 is somewhat similar to what we see in-game. While the RPG-7 can be operated by individuals, it was designed around a 2-man team that, when properly trained, could reload the rocket launcher in approximately 8 to 10 seconds when under duress or combat conditions. Trying to handle both the RPG-7 and load a rocket in real life requires a modicum of skill. Factoring in carrying 3 other rockets and utilizing this solo, I can see it being a big challenge. Okay, that may not be that big of a deal, but how about this? The backblast the RPG-7 creates is around 30 meters. That's a danger zone of 30 meters. And if you're behind it within 2 or 3 meters, it's actually within the kill zone. You can actually die from being behind an RPG-7 because of that backblast. This is so much of an issue, and that one of the jobs the loader of that 2-man crew is to make sure friendlies are not behind that rocket launcher. This, of course, also brings up a slew of other issues, such as utilizing the RPG-7 in confined spaces. Say, for instance, a subway in France? No, I'm not killing my friendlies left and right on this one. But if it was a real RPG-7, I certainly would be risking it. Beyond this backblast issue, the RPG-7 has the normal variety of issues every other gun in this game has, and that's realism to its effectiveness in the real world versus different kinds of vehicles and personnel. Now, I'm not going to go into that, but from an authenticity standpoint, they got it right in terms of loading, the aesthetics, the sights, and even the arsenal stamps on the warhead. That's pretty sweet. While I'd like to have seen the backblast aspect of the RPG put in, which could also apply to the SMA or even the Carl Gustav from Bad Company 2, I think overall they did a good job at creating a mostly authentic RPG-7 experience. So, that's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you all enjoy Armored Kill. Until next time.